Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Chatting with Chase, where I take time to sit down and have a conversation with someone from River's Edge, helping you get to know them a little bit better and helping me get to know them a little bit better. Today, I get the privilege, the honor, the exciting fun time to actually sit in person with my friend Q. His name is actually Quinton J.K. Howard. In case you didn't know, now you know, but he goes by Q. For most of you, probably know him as that. And excited to have a conversation with you today, my man.
Me too, sir.
All right.
Me too.
Let's start with the first basic question, because a lot of you know Q from, he is a awesome, excellent volunteer at our church and our kids ministry. So if you have kids, you've probably seen him back there running around crazy with them. But if you don't know who Q is, give us a little bit about who is QJK Howard.
All right. So I'm Quinton Jerome Keith Howard. So that's what the JK stands for. I am from Chicago, Wisconsin, Ann Arbor, Lansing. So I'm all over the place. I went to Great Lakes Christian College. Got a degree in Christian education.
Where do you go to church?
Oh, I go to the best church, River's Edge.
I love that, man. The best church. Hashtag humble brag. I like that.
Yeah.
Best church. So Q, you've been coming like, we trying to figure this out, what, two-ish?
Yeah, two-ish years.
Coming about two-ish years. Funny quick story about Q. So I met him a year before he started coming to River's Edge. I gave him my phone number and I said, hey, I will take you out to lunch. I will buy your lunch. All you have to do is text me or call me. It took him 12 months to get back to me. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you say that's God's timing. Sometimes you say we could have been friends much longer than this. We could have been. So much more we could have done. But so excited that he did finally call. We went out to lunch and been grateful for our friendship ever since. And Q's just been an awesome volunteer at our church. It's funny in the midst of this quarantine, and we'll get into the real conversation. But so about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Gideon, who's my son, who sees Q all the time at church, about 2 weeks ago, he goes, Dad, can we FaceTime Q? I just got to see his face. I just got to see his face. So we appreciate all the impact you have on our kids, and not just mine personally, but all the kids at the church. So thank you for that. So let's roll into, why I think it's time that we sit down and have a discussion with you is, in light of everything happening in our world, you look differently than me, and I look differently than you. And I think it's important that we sit down and have conversations with people that look differently than us, hear their stories, hear their perspectives. And one of the things me and my wife said that helpful is when this issue becomes personal, when it's someone that you know and someone that you love, and you hear stories about how they've been impacted because of their skin color. And so we just asked if Q would sit down and kind of share some stories with us, as many as you want, as little as you want. Just kind of share a little bit about how you've been impacted and treated differently because of the color of your skin, if you got any for us.
Yeah. So it goes back to like elementary school. Growing up with a bunch of kids that don't look like me, being called a monkey, and not like knowing how to take that well, so I usually just laughed it off. Learning my first racist joke around them, and then watching like slave movies in class for like history, like hearing kids laugh at them, really broke my heart, because like that was my people, like we struggled, so it kind of really broke my heart hearing people laugh and like seeing like pictures of like old black women or old black men during that time, and hearing them say, haha, they look like a monkey, or haha, like that. Like it was just really different for me growing up, which was pretty tough. I got blamed for a lot of things that I should have never did, which I never did, which was pretty funny. I got blamed once for a food fight in the cafeteria. And I remember they called me down to the office and they were like, I heard you threw food. I was like, nope, that wasn't me. I was there, but I did not throw food. Because the first thing that was thrown across the room was milk. And I ran as soon as I saw the milk. Because I don't like
You don't like milk, yeah. You and milk don't get along.
Yeah, don't sit well. So yeah, that was elementary, and then getting beat up by a bunch of white kids one year in elementary. I mean, not elementary, but middle school wasn't the best. I probably started that, but it still wasn't like the best thing because like I was alone and I had no one to fight with me. And the so-called people that I thought were my friends weren't there. Weren't there to help me out. Weren't there to have my back. Yeah, I've been pulled over since I could drive a lot for sometimes for no reason, but the other times they had good reasons. So I'm not gonna say like the cops didn't have any reasons. I speed once in a while.
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
But yeah, I remember me and my friends got pulled over. It was me, my friend Mike, and we had 2 girls with us. And we got pulled over. And all I remember at the end was the cop flashing its lights at me and my friend Mike and saying, "Get our lives right." And like that, I don't know what that was supposed to mean. So like we were just at Denny's and I kept thinking about what is that supposed to mean? Like, get my life right. Like, I think my life is pretty good. So like, like stuff like that. And then high school got a little bit better. Start trying to figure out who I was, being different than everybody else that I grew up with. I've always seen racism. So it's like, how can I grow up and make a change, and how can I be the difference that people could see at a young age? That's when I got called my first N-word in high school, and that was in Michigan. So that's probably, I was a senior. I was downtown with some friends, and a white person called me an N-word, and I didn't know how to take that either. So the best thing I knew how to do was say something back to him, because I didn't really like try to follow God's steps. So the best thing, well, which wasn't the best thing, I said something back, and me and my friends got in a big argument with that person, and it wasn't the best thing that we could have done, me looking at it now. Yeah, that was pretty tough hearing that, because I thought all that slavery words and all that racism was dead, because that was like 2012. Wow. And then Trayvon Martin happened, and that's when everything got real for me again, because that's when I did my first protest, and at the time I didn't really know what it meant, but like it gave me like a voice and something that meant a lot, because at the time Trayvon was like 17, so he was basically around my age, and I couldn't imagine my mom losing me at something like that. So I've always been mindful that my mom's always been there. Like, I always try to stay out of harm's way, but it's life, which is sad, because I shouldn't say my life is like that. It's like a nightmare. It's like I have a target on my back for everything, for just me waking up one day. I don't know who's out there. Me and my friend Josiah, about a week ago, we were downtown just hanging out, playing Pokemon Go, and
nerd Pokemon Go. Sorry, I don't get into this Pokemon Go thing, man. All right, you're 25 and loving the Pokemon Go. Go ahead, no worries.
We were playing, and a Jeep drove up, and they were playing some good music, and I was like, oh, okay. I was vibing out, and the Jeep stopped and said I would shoot up the where you at right now, and like I paused and hesitated, and I was like, no, he's not talking to us. But I think back and look at it now, like, no, he was definitely talking to us. Like, who else would he be talking to? I talked to my roommate. I was like, Quinton, well, I probably shouldn't say his name, but that's my roommate. I was like, what are some things like you worry about when you wake up? And he gave me a list, and I was like, all right, let me give you my list. 1, waking up thinking someone's gonna kill me. And then I just gave him a list, and he was like, why is that the first one? I was like, it's just always been on my mind, like someone's out there just like ready for anybody. But he was like, yeah, you shouldn't have to live through that. I was like, I know, but ever since I was young, I've always had like threats.
That fear.
Yeah, that fear of someone gonna, not like me for who I am, and then one day just blast. And
man, that's crazy.
I know it's not funny, but I joke around about me trying to make it to 26. ever since this whole thing happened.
Which is like 3 days.
Yeah, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I hope I make it to 26. She was like, why? I was like, Mom, I don't know what's gonna happen now. She was like, yeah, I know it's pretty tough, but I'm a praying mama, so I got your back. I was like, I know, but you in Houston, so
But you're so far away, Mom. How those prayers gonna come?
Yeah, she was like, just remember one thing: just don't hate the people that you know that love God and I always have your back since you've been in Lansing. I was like, yeah, you're right, you're right. Because like with this whole thing going on, like I really feel like I have hate, but it's like I shouldn't have hate. I shouldn't have hate towards anybody because of this. Like I
so
want to
you're
fix
even
it.
working through that, like
Yeah.
that initial like frustration and anger that boils up inside, like you're having to work through as a Christian man. Like that's
definitely.
an important piece, like putting your faith into this conversation. Like that's such a huge piece, man, for all of us. Like if we're not letting our faith dictate this, then we're messed up, man.
Yeah.
That's why you said the God's love thing.
I think it's definitely important right now for Christians to have a voice, you know, to step up, because like we need it. We need to see how us as Christians handle problems like this.
Because we have the solution. Like at the end of the day, like I get that you don't have to know God or believe in God to love people.
Right.
But if you want the right,
the
perfect kind of love, if you want like the inherent kind of love that you need to fix this issue, it's love people with the kind of love that God has shown us. So it's like we as Christians have a solution to this issue. Like we're all one in Christ. Boom. You know, love people the way Jesus loves you. Boom. Like those two things right there should change that.
Yeah. It should.
I like that transition of God's love piece. If you listen to our message, was it last week? We talked with Hezekiah. I shouted out Q and said I'm gonna quote him, because when we chatted last week just a little bit about all that's going on, that's what you said to me. You said, man, if we just understand God's love and how to not just receive it, because we all love that part, but how to actually share with other people, then yeah, man, we could really fix this and change a lot of things. So I love that. I think that's a really important piece. We were talking at dinner, you said something about hate, and I just threw this out there of like, there's not a lot of people that, I think there's hate out there. I think there's definitely on both sides of people that look at people that look differently than them and that actually hate. And they're like, I hate because of skin color. But I was saying some of the problem I think is we think since we don't have that, since like we don't hate people, then we're okay. But I was telling you, like, it's more than just, do you hate somebody, you know, because of their skin color? It's, do you look at them differently? Do you think about them differently? Do you judge them differently? Do you classify them in some way just because of their skin color? And that's where I'm like, that right there, that's part of the problem. It's more subtle hate.
Yeah,
that's a better word. Yeah, it's more subtle.
It's definitely like subtle in some type of ways, because like now we have the internet. Like back then, no one had the internet, so like it was still going on, but it was like you didn't know. Yeah. If
it wasn't happening in your little circle, you thought the world's good. Yeah. We're past all this racism. But now with the internet, it's like we can know what's happening all around our country that.
I really think about like if we didn't have internet, like would this still go on? And if it did go on, like how low key would it be? And like how many more people would be killed? How many more like, you know, how many more like riots would we have? How many more like race crimes would we have? Like not even just with black and white. It could be a black person killing a white person. Yeah. How many more would we have? Like
the internet's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah,
it's like,
for real.
We're able to see it, but it's painful that it's still there. But if we didn't have the internet, we couldn't see it.
Right.
We'd be ignorant to the fact that it's still there,
right.
And we wouldn't be able to make a change. So yeah, I think exposure is just really important part of the whole conversation. Just like, you know, Hezekiah said, and even you said earlier, of like exposing yourself to different cultures, exposing yourself to helping out in different places, to hanging out with people that look differently than you. Like exposing yourself to different people will help you understand different people.
Yeah, something like that. But also just like talking. Like if you had never seen like a black person, I guess, like just talk to them, because they're probably going through the same things you're going through, or like, you know, have a fancy house just like you. Like, it's just, you just have to talk to him, because like you don't want to judge a book by its cover, which a lot of people still do, which is sad. And like, if you've been around like your same race your whole life, and you see someone new, don't be scared. Like, just go out of your way, talk to them. You may never know what, like what that does to a person, because like that could brighten up someone's day. All you know. Yeah. Like, hey man, how are you doing? Like, well, are you talking to me? Like, I don't know what to do. So like, have a nice friendly conversation, and like you guys could probably be the bestest friends. Like, it's just really just going out of the way for everybody to just talking to somebody, reaching out, seeing what they need. Simple stuff for real.
Well, like, how have you been feeling through this? Like, especially in this time with everything going on.
Like, to be honest, like, I haven't felt myself. I haven't felt happy. I felt more like sad and like confused and I wouldn't say depressed. I just feel lonely, feel lost, because all this stuff is going on. And so I called my mom like literally probably a week ago when this whole thing happened. And I broke down in anger and frustration, because I can't believe this is still going on in 2020. And it's like, why? Racism should be dead by now, because I don't want my kids to live through what I have to live through. I don't want to tell my son, like, people are going to hate you because of your skin color, and they won't even give you a chance. Yeah. So you just have to work 10 times harder than the next person you know, which... I mean, everyone should work harder, but at the same time, like, my son or daughter shouldn't just be looked at differently because of the color of their skin. Yeah. So it's like, I'm really thankful and glad that people are standing up and like reaching out, but at the same time, like, that does so much for someone like me, and it's pretty tough, because like I don't want to tell them like you shouldn't, but you should. Everyone should, like, stand up for this cause and everything, but I know at the end of the day, like, I hope like in a few weeks that people don't turn around and forget about all of this, because like that's the thing right now that's really breaking me down, is because like people could say like they stand with you, but they're gonna forget about this whole situation next month.
Appreciate you taking the time to share some of those with us. Some different perspectives and stuff, and even how even now, just 2 weeks ago, what would, you got a chance right now to say something, what would Q say to people listening right now on what you think could help shift some things for people?
Show love. I know like people hear that a lot now, but for real, like, if you show good godly love and not be fake with it, and teach your kids how to love different people, and just go out and go to different communities, see how you could help change it, or help fix it, or do whatever you could do in that community. Like Sunday, like Hezekiah said, like, go out there, tutor, go out there, be a big brother, big sister, do something like that. Go out there and show, like, I'm here, I'm ready for a change, and I don't want the next generation to live through what I have.
Yeah, I like that. That's really good. Man, I appreciate you, Q. Appreciate you taking the time to sit with me, knee to knee. He came in the house. I know it's COVID, but we're okay with this.
Yeah, I'm good.
I told him I'd hug him at the end, and we do the thing where our beards hug, but we didn't want to show you that.
Yeah,
so
that's weird.
That was a little awkward for him and me. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I hope you guys enjoyed just sitting, getting to know Q a little bit better. He's an awesome dude, and we're glad that you are part of River's Edge, and thankful for all the volunteering and good stuff you do at our church. So thanks for sitting and chatting, sharing your perspective. Come back next week and join us for another conversation as we sit down with people from River's Edge and hear a little bit more about them. So thanks for checking us out. Any final words from the Q? Those weren't words, but they'll work.
Love
See
you.
ya.